When Black Clover first came out in 2017, it was basically hated on by just about every single person in the anime community. And to display the level of hate this show got, I made a little clip compilation of what people really thought about this show at the time when it was released.
The other day, I finally got to watching Black Clover, and needless to say, I hated it.
Black Clover fanboys love to make their show seem way more deeper than what it is. They like to overcomplicate shit, when in all seriousness, their show is as basic as baking cookies in a fucking Easy Bake Oven.
Black Clover is being billed as the new Boruto's dad.
It says that Asta is a young boy who dreams on becoming the greatest mage. In the back of my head, Hokage.
Asta sounds like Gilbert Gottfried doing a drunk Naruto impression.
Maybe it's because a lot of people think it's, it's like Naruto, which, they're not actually that wrong.
A Walmart edition Naruto is what this show is being compared to. Unfortunately, the comparisons don't stop there though. People claim Black Clover to be a ripoff of One Piece, My Hero Academia, Fairy Tail, Dragon Ball Z, basically every shonen anime in existence. Ironically, being a copy of every anime in existence isn't just the only reason why this show pissed people off so much. Because I don't know if y'all remember, but the way Black Clover was glazed so hard before it officially came out was me right on astronomical levels. Before the anime was released, Black Clover was a pretty popular upcoming series in the weekly Shonen Jump magazine. And to promote the anime, Crunchyroll titled it the new king of shonen anime. Super crazy claim, I know. This show could have given birth to an actual baby the way people were just bouncing on his meat like a goddamn trampoline. So, by natural means, fans obviously got excited by what this new show had to offer to everyone. Just to find out in the first few episodes that they've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived. And let's admit, inspiration exists everywhere. Everyone gets inspired from something or someone. It's pretty challenging to come up with a completely original idea. So being labeled as a straight copycat is definitely some serious allegations that are brought up against your name. Okay, but now let's read a summary of Black Clover real quick, shall we? This is all copied straight from Wikipedia, by the way. None of these words I'm about to say are mine in any way, shape, or form. Asta is a young orphan who is left to be raised in an orphanage alongside his fellow orphan Yuno. While everyone is born with the ability to utilize mana in the form of magical power, Asta, with no magic, instead focuses on physical strength. Conversely, Yuno was born as a prodigy with immense magical power and the talent to control wind magic. Motivated by desires to become the next Wizard King, the two youths develop a friendly rivalry. And now these allegations start to seem a little bit more believable now. Sadly, the comparisons don't just end there. People found every single aspect of this show to feel like a worse or just plagiarized version of their favorite shonen series. Starting off with the characters of Black Clover. When you look at each character in this anime, it's insane how easy it is to draw direct comparisons of how similar some of these guys are to many other previous characters in other series. I mean, to begin with, we have Asta's fellow orphan and rival Yuno, who appears to be more talented than him in every way. He's taller, he's smarter, gets more hoes than the main character, learns how to use his specific super gifted power faster than the main character, and last but not least, has black hair and is emo as fuck. Nigga, this is just Sasuke Uchiha. Next, Noelle, the love interest, who will admit they're in love with the main character, but will do dumbass retarded shit around the main character and basically embarrass himself until the final episode of this series, when it's finally time to confess. Now, I would grill Black Clover for this, but not gonna lie, it's honestly a pretty common trope in most other anime series, so Black Clover gets a slight pass. Next, Yami, Asta's sensei or mentor, who is always very mysterious about himself, but is always somehow brimming with aura. Remember, these type of niggas always gotta have some type of aura or it's never gonna work. Have you ever seen a sensei in any piece of fiction with zero aura, zero swag? I need my sensei to look like they can take my girl in the middle of the street, or else I don't want it. Then we have Asta's team. Now, despite not having any magic in the later episodes, Asta manages to get selected into a magical guild, with every single magical guild being run by a captain, which feels very reminiscent to all the captains in the Goten 13 from Bleach. And I can keep going on and on with the amount of characters and comparisons I can keep drawing, friend. But finally, we reach our main character, Asta, who is responsible for a good 75 to 80% of why people absolutely despise this show so much in the beginning. Because not only were people calling him 5'3", super buff, albino hair and Naruto, the little nigga's voice was just annoying as hell. My apologies, I won't torture y'all any longer. You can be standing right next to 2 megaphones, 3 airplanes preparing for takeoff, and a singular crying baby, and not one of them holds a single candle to the sound of Asta's voice. Like at that point, reading the manga would be the way to go because it's honestly a much smoother and calmer experience. It also didn't help that this anime was aired at the same time as the show My Hero Academia. And with both of these series sharing the same genre and similarities, it was only inevitable that the two would be compared to each other a lot. The only difference is though was that My Hero Academia had a pretty huge fan base that adored and had a huge admiration for the show.
I am the king!
What's wrong, Kirumi? What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? Hey, what's wrong? Hey!
While Black Clover's small fan base at the time was on the front lines of a civil war trying to defend their show. Which then makes you ask, why was this the case? If these shows had such similarities, what was it that Black Clover was missing? Now let's compare how both of these series started off their own shows. When you look into the deeper surface of things, you find out that My Hero Academia as a show isn't all that different to your average shonen series. I mean, you know the story already. Almost everyone has superpowered quirks that give them the ability to do cool things, although some people are born quirkless, and the main character is one of them. So then the little nigga eats hair and all of a sudden he can punch things really, really hard now. Like, you basically already know the deal. And reading that summary on the surface level of things makes this anime sound basic as hell, bruh. And when you have a summary that sounds as generic as that, it's up to you to show the audience how your series is different and has a sense of uniqueness so people are still able to tune in. And My Hero Academia did this very well with its first 2 seasons of the series. The first season started off by introducing us to the world of what My Hero Academia was, with also documenting the beginning of Deku's journey to train to become the #1 hero. From when he took the hair from All Might and ate it, to getting accepted into the superhero school and learning how to be a true hero, all in a 13-episode format. Were there times where the show felt a little bit corny?
You've got some pretty big boobs, Sue. Perfect floaties.
Without a doubt. In fact, if you want to go ahead and even go as far to call the first season mid, I can at least see why you would want to make an argument for that slightly. But when we get into that second season though, that second season was something truly special, alright? It started off with the UA tournament arc. And looking back at this arc, I'll wholeheartedly say with full confidence that this is one of the best tournament arcs in anime history. Yes, I said it. In freaking history, nigga. But what about things like the shounen exams and like the dark tournament or like the Tenkaichi Budokai? Yo, chill with all that. I ain't trying to hear all that bullshit, you heard? Just take a seat right here, relax, as you enjoy the absolute peak that is Deku versus Todoroki. As much as I can sit here and beat right how good the first 2 seasons of this show were, that's not the point of this video. This video is about Black Clover. Speaking of Black Clover, by the way, now let's get into what the beginning of this show started off like. It would low-key feel like I'm repeating myself again from earlier points in the video when I talk about how uninspired people saw the concepts of Black Clover to be. But one thing I purposely didn't mention earlier in the video was how garbage the pacing is in like the first 10 to 20 episodes of this anime. The pacing in the beginning of Black Clover is so bad that it's close to giving shows like One Piece a run for its money on who's gonna beat each other for which show has worse pacing. But notice how I said it's close, because if we're being honest, nothing comes close to the One Piece anime in terms of terrible pacing. And the problem is, I can't even say I was surprised that the pacing was this awful. In fact, when I saw that this show was being animated by Studio Pirate, however you say them niggas' names, bro. When I saw that this show was being animated by them, it clocked in my head immediately what situation I was about to get myself into. So for those of y'all who don't know, this studio was basically the equivalent to the literal antichrist of Japanese animation. These guys are responsible for the attempted sabotage of so many iconic anime in the past. Why did Bleach have nearly half of his entire series be filler, including an entire damn arc of filler? These guys are the cause of it. Tokyo Ghoul Re, second season being straight buns, blame these guys. That one Naruto moment in the war arc, and we had to see what nearly every single freaking character in Naruto was dreaming about after being cast into jutsus. These niggas are the reason we had to suffer through that shit. Here's a fun fact. Did you know that the first 6 episodes of the Black Clover anime only gets past 4 chapters of the original manga? Like, my nigga, these chapters are only about 15 to 18 pages long. 6 episodes is almost 2.5 hours worth of content. These niggas are straight bullshitting for 2.5 hours, bruh. Now, in retrospect, here's the main deal with things. You can't deny how much of a bad impression this series had on a lot of fans when it first was starting out. The generic tropes that you've seen in every previous show in the past, the boring predictability that the anime can have at times, and of course, the awful pacing that this series had to suffer from due to being under the hands of the devil incarnate Studio Pirate. It's very understandable that a lot of people may call this a mid, or even worse, a bad show. But you also gotta keep in mind that this anime has over 170 episodes to it. And I feel like judging the series off of like the first 10 to 15 isn't a fair criticism to base off of the whole entire series. Which leads me to my last and final point of this video. And that centers around the question of whether Black Clover, does it really get better? And to that, I would say, hell no. The fuck? You thought this would be like a good turning point of the video that leaves like a positive note? Well, you thought wrong, nigga. You thought freaking wrong. Oh my god, okay. I'm trolling too much. Okay, I'm just playing with you guys. You heard that, Black Clover fans? If you just dislike the video, I mean, you probably already disliked the video since the beginning. But if you dislike the video like just now, like, I'm just playing with y'all. I'm just joking. The thing with Black Clover is that after a while, I would agree that it does in fact get better for like the show it already was. Like, it got better for its own standards. And if y'all don't really understand what I really mean by that, a good analogy to describe its improvement is like when you're working a job that starts off by paying you like $9 an hour, which means like modern day slavery. But because you're starving and need to put food on the table, you get a new job and now they're paying you $12 an hour, you know? Like, not an amazing improvement. And, you know, some days, you know, you might have to sit around and make some like iced sandwiches for dinner, but at least you're getting paid more. I watched every single episode of Black Clover and I've even read ahead of the manga in the later arcs. And one thing I've learned from this show is that it doesn't really tend to take itself too seriously. It's well aware that it's not an original series and it doesn't ever force itself too hard to be something that it's not. And once it embraced that, that's when the show got a lot better in my opinion. You know, I wish I could say the same for My Hero Academia after season 2, but My Hero Academia has its own issues to deal with that in season 2, but that's for another video in the future, alright? Going back to Black Clover, fights and animation would get so hype at many moments of the show at times. I mean, I guess sometimes you have to deal with BS like this.
Come on, you guys, let's keep on pushing! Understood! Got it!
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy. You get your guy.
But other times you would get stuff like this. And while I'm watching these fights, bro, I'm a grown-ass man, bro. On my couch, bouncing up and down. Pause. Hold on. Jumping up and down like a little ass kid, getting hyped as hell. Seeing these dudes Asta, you know, tag team on an elf demon villain guy, like I'm watching the WWE or something, man. It's just straight entertainment to turn your brain off and relax you after a long and stressful day. Now, with all that recent praise I've been giving this show, you might sit in there and ask me whether I think this show is actually good. And with that, I'd answer no. Hell no. It's still cheeks, but like not the kind of cheeks that you smell when you like finish taking a dump and you didn't wipe your ass. It's like good cheeks, you know? Like the type of cheeks when you're messing with the local bop in your city, but you don't want everyone to know. Which I know a lot of you watching this video probably already do that in the first place. So I definitely know a lot of y'all want to join Black Clover. In fact, honestly, for being real, Black Clover really just suffered from being released at the wrong time, because if this show came out now, during the time where everyone's attention span is like cooked and ruined by that TikTok brain, bro, people will be calling this show the greatest thing since sliced bread.